Is Mr Garrison Donald Trump, or was Donald Trump already killed in South Park? In the comments of quite a lot of my South Park reviews, people have been strongly disagreeing with me, constantly saying that in South Park Donald Trump is alive and that he might appear in the future. Well, in this video I'm hopefully going to give you my full take on the situation, my views on the situation, why I think Donald Trump is still alive and why he may be leading into the next season. Now, before I can give my full reasonings, we have to very briefly look at South Park Season 19 Episode 2, Where's My Country Gone? The main theme of the episode is that Garrison is pissed off at the thought that America is being overrun by Canadian immigrants and he wants to put an end to it. In a class, he cracks and shouts at some Canadian children, telling them that they're Canucks who should be sent home. Due to this outburst, PC principal sends him to Canadian lessons. This leads to him just losing it completely and invading a school assembly, shouting at all the Canadian children and just raising hell. This gets him sacked from the school and leads him into his mission to go to Canada and fuck everyone to death, which of course later led to his aspirations of presidency. But to the shock of everyone in America, Canada has already built a wall to keep the Americans out. In Canada, we see the Canadian president, who seems to be a parody of Donald Trump in a what-if kind of way, but it was never explicitly mentioned that he is Donald Trump. In the episode, the Canadian president was referred to as Mr. President and the Canadian president. After climbing in a barrel and going over Niagara Falls, Garrison finally enters Canada to find it pretty desolate before finding the Canadian president and brutally fucking him to death. One interesting and funny side note is that the episode itself is a complete parody of the real life things that have happened in 2016, such as Trump being voted in as president, and the aftermath that people threatened, such as moving to the country next door and so on. At the end of the episode, Kyle tries to warn everyone against the kind of things that have led to Trump becoming president, as well as everything else that happened, but everyone just totally ignores them. He shuts up, he stops talking, and that's the end of it. He just gives up. It's a damn good and prophetic episode that demands a rewatch. You should go and watch it as soon as this video is finished, but we've still got some more to go here, so stay tuned. So with all that said, it's on to my reasoning behind why I still think Donald Trump could be behind Garrison becoming president and whatever is going to happen in season 21 of South Park. When famous people are in South Park, they are always real. Randy is a great example of this. Randy is not a parody of Lord, and Randy's Lord is not a parody of Lord. Randy is Lord. Randy is Lord in the South Park world. There could not be two lords. If there was another lord in the South Park world, that would be an imposter because it's not Randy, and it's been established that Randy is Lord. So there you go. They don't mix about that, you're either real or you're not. When the South Park team use a famous person in an episode, they pretty much always name that person, whether they're going to make that person the costume or they're going to brutally rip the shit out of them. They will name them. The Canadian Trump parody may have been a rare parody of a personality, but it was not named at all. South Park usually stay true to the person's actual personalities. Never have they changed where a famous person was born just to complete a story, and it's pretty clear that the Canadian president was very Canadian, and of course Donald Trump is American. Season 19 episode 2 itself seemed more of a warning, a recreation if you want, of what might happen if Donald Trump was voted in, and this was done by making the Canadian president look like Trump, but this was just to bring the point home that this is what might happen if you vote Trump in. And this brings me to something I noticed while scripting this. I ask everyone, is it not a coincidence that both the President of Canada and now the President of America were both made to look like Donald Trump? Also, the Canadian president was rocking out 80s music, possibly remembering the good old times. Maybe I'm just overthinking that bit though. In closing, I will leave you with some thoughts of mine that also make me think Trump is not dead and may appear in South Park. Is it not strange that both presidents assumed the look of a man who we have never actually seen in South Park? I mean, where did they get the look from? Did Garrison steal the look from the Canadian president? And with that said, where did the Canadian president get his look from? Thankfully, South Park is a cartoon, anything can happen, so all this may very well be wrong, and we'll find out in season 21. Subscribe for more. I will have more South Park videos coming later this week. Like videos, watch them, go and watch all the old ones, watch all the reviews, see what you think, see if you think of the theories, see what you think, and tell me down below what you think is going to happen in season 21. Margin Stevie out.